Medical trauma is really a thing. And the words you speak, those are so important, which I always talk about. See, I had my own medical trauma that I talked about in the very first TikToks I ever did. I told you the story of the 5 surgeries over 2 years. Simple gallbladder ended up in a complete hysterectomy. It was a nightmare. That's not the medical trauma I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that happened much, much later, and not even to myself. See, if you followed my story, you know that the last few videos I've listed, 20 or so videos, was all about my childhood trauma, growing up, learning to overcome being DID, with dissociative identity disorder, which was a mental illness. The parts held memories away from me. I faced those memories. I learned to love them. I learned to love myself. I've been whole for 20 years. So here I am sharing my story, and I'm going through all this. And at the end of my own medical trauma, I was sick, I was depressed, I felt horrid, nothing worked, nothing helped. And I found a program, a 30-day to healthy living program, that actually made me feel better. It was kind of fun. My friend did it with me, which made it a lot easier. And she even saw me change. And in the second week, I remember her saying to me, "Oh my gosh, I have my best friend back," because my body felt better. I was able to eat foods that tasted really good. Like, it just changed everything, and I felt amazing. I slept amazing. I had energy, and I followed that program for 3 months, and I did great, and I was doing amazing. But then something happened. Then something happened that I kindly tucked away into the back of my brain and pushed it far, far away. And if you know me, you know I'm an emotional eater. I eat when I get stressed, and I'm working on finding other ways and other habits. But when something is really deep and really traumatic, that is just where I get pushed. And 7 years ago, something happened that pushed me into turning off I'm going to take care of myself. And I stopped. I stopped eating right. I stopped feeling amazing. I stopped doing everything I know to do. Isn't that crazy? Why we do that? And I couldn't push through it, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't push through it. So here I am. 2 months ago, I spoke these words. I am intending to take better care of myself, to treat myself better, to take care of my health. I am pushing forward. I'm working with a coach, and I'm making choices on what to eat in the morning that's better. And so I said, words make a major difference. So that is what I put out there. I am making decisions. I am making a change. And then, dig this. Somehow or other, God brought my best friend over to me who said something very important. Why did you stop doing the healthy eating? Like, why did you turn it off 7 years ago? What happened? Why did you stop? And I'm like, well, it was the passing of my grandmother. And yes, when we lose loved ones, we go through grief, and that's hard. But I've worked through the grief of that. And she's like, yeah, but why would that make you completely stop doing what you were doing that was making you feel so good? And that's when I remembered the medical trauma I went through. See, we were told on a Thursday, Grandma's done. Her lungs are done. She can't take any more. We're taking off we're saving your life kind of equipment, and we're just going to let her pass. She's going to have a nice, quiet passing. Come say goodbye to your grandmother. Show her some love and move on. So that's what I did. I thought. Got to the hospital, and apparently a new doctor took over and said, oh no, we can get this woman to live a few more months. Did a massive lung kind of whatever that irritated everything in her system, because she's got COPD and lung cancer, and it was horrendous. And so instead of having a peaceful, I love you, Grandma, watching her go to the other side, instead, we sat there for hours watching her writhe in pain and barely be able to breathe. Like, I can't even explain to you the trauma of sitting in that room and no one being able to help. And the nurses were in there, and I'm like, can you please help her? And she's like, she's had all the medication she can have. And I'm like, where's the doctor that said she's doing better? Where's the doctor that says she can live like this for 2 months? I want him in here, and I want him to see her. It was horrific. Of course, he never came. He never came in. No one ever came in. I felt like I was in the Middle Ages watching someone suffer. No one ever should watch anyone have to suffer in that much pain like that. It was horrendous. It was awful. And I sat there all day for hours watching this and feeling helpless and screaming in my head because I couldn't scream out loud. Someone stop this torture. Someone stop this, which only tapped into my own medical trauma that I had not worked through yet and the trauma from my childhood. So here we are. I'm a mess. I can remember grabbing my brother, taking a walk down the hospital hallway into the cafeteria, grabbed a soda, grabbed some chocolate, grabbed some chips, and I can remember saying, I'm done. I'm done taking care of myself. Like, I literally turned myself off, and the crazy thing is, I completely forgot about that. It's like it was so traumatic, I just had to shut it off. I knew I stopped eating correctly around my grandma's death, but I think I disconnected from the whole medical trauma, which I didn't even know it was called medical trauma. I had a coach tell me that that's what they call it these days, and that many people have dealt with medical trauma. All I can say is it was eye-opening. I was telling my friend and I was sobbing. Here it is 7 years later, and you would have thought I was still in that hospital room witnessing it happen. And so coming to that realization, knowing I am making healthy choices again, and this memory that caused me to go off my healthy choices came back. And I can grieve over it. And part of my assignment was to share it with people, because it's in verbalizing what happens. It's in verbalizing your feelings. It's in verbalizing the debt, and having others validate it, that healing and health can grow. So I share that all with you. If any of you have had a medical trauma, I would love to hear your story. Please share in the comments. It's hard. And I know the nurses are doing the best they can. They're understaffed, they're short, they can only do so much, but there's got to be something done in America when it comes to taking care of people. Don't mind my little monster. She is here with me and apparently saw another dog that she wants to go visit. Hello, Bubba. Telling my story. So I'm super excited about this next season. I am going to stick to these healthy choices now that I know what took me off my path. And I'd love to hear your story if you too have a medical trauma you're working through.